everyone, it's Nicole again, and I'm here to do the Finally Fall book tag. I know I'm wearing overalls and a t-shirt, but fall does not exist in Los Angeles, and it's in like the high 70s, so I'm trying to stay cool. There are 10 questions in here. I don't know who the original creator was, but I'll link them down below so you can check it out. Chelsea from Chelsea Darling Reads did this recently, and I was like, I've been wanting to get into the fall mood, even though it's hot here. So I thought I would do it. So the first question is, in fall the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. And for this one, I'm going with Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. I tried to pick kind of spooky books, but we'll see how that goes. This one, it doesn't have that much description because it's actually a journal entries that you're reading, but it's about this weird area that has been contaminated by something, and there's a lot of weird stuff going on, and you could see everything so clearly, even though the descriptions were pretty sparse. And there was like one thing, and like I know like there's a movie, so like watching the movie after makes some things more vivid, but there was one part that's not in the movie, and I could see that so clearly, and I really wish they had done that in the movie, but it would have been kind of difficult. I'll just say The Tower, if you've read it. I don't know, it was super vivid and terrifying to me. The next question is, nature is beautiful but also dying. Name a book that's beautifully written but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. I'm gonna go with a kind of controversial book, and that's Tender Morsels by Margot Lanigan. This is a very dark book that a lot of people do not like, and like I understand why, but it's a very dark fairy tale-esque book about this mother, or this woman who's kind of made this safe place for her and her two daughters. But then stuff from the real world starts coming through, and they kind of have to make the decision if they should stay there or go out to face the real world. And there's a lot of heavy topics. I mean, within the first 50 pages, the main character is like raped and has forced miscarriages and is abused. It's just like a lot. But the writing is super beautiful, and I feel like she handles like the dark fairy tale aspects very well. But definitely not a book for everyone. And the next question is, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. And this is a book that I read recently, or like a couple months ago. And it's Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race by Rennie Etta Lodge. And this was all about race relations in Britain, which I really did not know very much at all about, and neither did the author when she kind of went in to do this research for this book. Like, she's British and learned a ton as well, because even in like British schools, when they learn about slavery and stuff, it's just talking about American slavery. So I learned a lot about this, and racism is also very bad in the UK. Maybe even worse, because they think they don't have a problem, and they definitely do. Whereas, like, in America, at least most people, some people know there's a problem. But this was a very informative book. And the next question is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with the people we love. Name a fictional family, household, friend group that you'd like to be a part of. And I'm going to go with a book that I was talking about a lot over the summer, and that's The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. I would love to hang out in this world and be friends with everybody and raise my own tea dragon. Also, this book made me want to be a blacksmith, because one of the characters, like, her mom's a blacksmith, and she's like training to do that, but she's like not super interested in it. And I was like, yeah, well, you know what? I want to be a blacksmith. It sounds very fun. But this would be a lovely family to hang out with. Alright, and the next question, it's not really a question, but the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall-colored spines. I've gathered a stack here. I tried to do a radiant from red to orange. I have a lot of red books, but not that many orange ones. Most of my orange ones are these like penguin books, but I feel like it's a nice little pretty stack of books. I really don't have any yellow books, so I was going to add that to the top, but really don't have any. I guess my SF Masterworks could count, but there's my stack. And the next question is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody is telling a story. That's called frame narrative or frame story, and it's like one of my favorite kinds of books when people are telling a story within the book. It's my favorite, and definitely my favorite book that does this is In the Night Garden by Catherine Valente. This one has frame stories within frame stories within frame stories. There's like so many stories, but it's about this girl, and she is telling a story to this boy in the garden, and then within the story, people are telling stories, and it goes on and on and on, and it's so beautiful, and it's like one of my favorite books of all times, and it has beautiful illustrations. Very good for the fall season if you want to read it. And the next one is The Nights Are Getting Darker. Share a dark, creepy read. I could talk about the two books that like scared me during Spookthon, but I'm going to talk about some old classics. Probably like the most creepy books that I've ever read. I'm going to talk about two, because they're creepy for different reasons, but like Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov. One of probably the most unlikable character, as he's a pedophile. But you're just kind of forced to be in his mind, and it's horrifying. I hate this cover because there's a quote from the Vanity Fair that says, "The only convincing love story of our century," which is a disgusting Vanity Fair, but a horrifying book to read. And also A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess, another super unlikable character, and it's just horrifying to read it. I picked like creepy books in the sense that like the characters are just horrible people. But yeah, this one. I do love this book though because he also makes up an entire language and it's so good. Alright. And the next question is, the days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. I have a book that might not be that short. I want to show it to you. But this is The Chronicles of Narnia by Diana Wynne Jones. This is volume 1. It has 2 books in it, so that's why it's big. It's also middle grade. It has The Charmed Life and The Lives of Christopher Chan. So they each are about like under 300 pages. But this was one of my favorite series in middle school. I read this so much. I probably read it like more than Harry Potter. And it always makes me so happy. It's about this family that is magical, and they just get into adventures, and there's like different worlds, and it's super cool. I don't super remember all the plot, but there was like lots of different worlds, cool magic, cool witch ladies. I loved this book so much, and I definitely want to reread it soon. Alright, and the next question, kind of related to that one, but fall returns every year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. I was going to do that one, but then I really don't have that many cheerful books that I like to read, so I went with a different one. So, I have Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. I want to reread this because the show's coming out. It's a show, right? Not a movie, yeah. But I loved this book when I read it, and I made everybody read it. And when I worked at Barnes & Noble, you had to like pick a book, and that was like you were supposed to try to convince people to buy it. And I picked this book, and I was doing pretty well before I left. So yeah, this is like the funniest book about the apocalypse. I am curious because after having read this and then reading more Neil Gaiman, I realized I don't think I like Neil Gaiman's writing, and I think I like the Terry Pratchett parts of this book, so I really want to read a Terry Pratchett book to see if that's true, or if maybe the combination of them is just perfect, so we'll see. And the last question is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. I feel like I don't really have any accessories because I normally just read on the bus or the train, so just like me and my book. and I don't have special bookmarks. I guess sometimes, like, I'll sit on my couch with some tea. I feel like tea is a good accompaniment to reading. But yeah, I don't really have any accessories, so. And yeah, and then the next one is just to tag people. If you're watching this, you're tagged. Feel free to do it. Hopefully it's more fall-like where you live, because it's definitely still summer here. It's very hot. But I'm gonna go now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all soon with another video. Bye!